Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Austin and I am a young makeup artist just doing my best. So today I'm going to show you guys kind of a traditional standard look that I do in my kind of drag. I'll put a little image of it right here. It's just kind of like this blue smoky eye with a red moment underneath. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen my last video, I did a rendition of Trixie Mattel's iconic makeup. You can see the result right there if you want to go check that out. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it. I've already prepped and primed my face. I used the Touch and Soul primer from last time, if you guys remember. So yeah, we're gonna go start in with foundation. Alright, foundation, you guys know I stan this Maybelline Superstay foundation. I actually use two different foundations when I go into it just because like I like a really matte face. So I just go in with this first, you know, my dotting it around motion. Because I absolutely need the coverage. Some of you young folks with perfect skin out there probably don't need this kind of coverage, but you know, I'm essentially a 30-year-old man. Go in, I take a damp beauty blender and we just kind of buff that out. One of the things that I've learned to do is like, I try not to put as much makeup like in this general area because we're gonna be going in with concealer anyway. And so sometimes it ends up, you know, cakey or patchy if you do it everywhere. All right, we're trying to get ready really quick because my roommates have a party going on in like, okay, I guess it's in like an hour, but they're setting up and I'm not one for partying all the time, but I figured, you know, they put up a bunch of lights. They've got those nice little TikTok lights, so we're gonna go in and make an appearance at least, try to meet some people. So then I go in with the second layer of like a much lighter foundation. I use the Fenty Beauty one because it's just very liquidy. And it's a little bit like, it matches my skin tone a little bit better. Like with I like to paint a little bit lighter and like paint down a little bit lighter. So I use this Fenty one that's kind of more my skin tone, and then the like fully matte one is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so that when I mix it together, it kind of blends in well.
Blend this way. It kind of gives you that like.
I mean, it'll be matte once we finally get to the powder, but I just want all of my little like redness to be covered up. I definitely don't recommend this for like everyday wear. If you want to like just have like a natural face on or whatever, because this is probably solid for like, I've worn it like up to like 8 hours before, but like you can definitely start telling after a certain amount of time that you've got a face on. All right, once we're at this point, we are gonna go in with our contour. I use this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Like I said, it's very dark. I said this in my last video, like, it definitely looked problematic for a minute there, but it pulls together in the end, I promise. I just do a dot, because a little bit goes a long way there, and like right at the edge of my brows for both of those, and then one there and one on each side of here. Right, and then I'm going to start in with the nose first, just kind of like working my way up the bridge of the nose with my finger. I like to blend this out with the finger first because it reacts a lot better to heat versus like going straight in with the beauty blender. It'll kind of end up a lot more patchy. Whereas if you do it with your finger first, it'll like melt into the skin a little bit better. you're creating another like layer of skin under the makeup. You're like adjusting your entire bone structure. That way, like, the contour has something to build off of, like your powder contour. Again, if you are a natural woman, you know, or you just have like very delicate features or whatnot, you probably don't have to do this as heavy. I do not have as feminine features because I am my father's son. So I like to like kind of carve out where my face is and where my bone structure is. I go all the way down with it. That way in pictures and whatnot, and even in real life, I can like bring out this little indentation here and then carve out my cheekbone a little bit. Then we do the same with the other side. Just like that. That would turn out a lot better. And don't worry if like it's not perfect, because we're gonna go over it. Like, we're gonna cut this cheek with concealer later too. Yeah. If you are looking for just an easy, natural look, this is not for you. Obviously you can adjust a lot of the stuff in this to like fit your own personal preference. This is just my personal preference. Like, I just like when everything is totally blended out and like I have something for the contour to build on. Because I've done contour before, like just powder. I mean, I did it for like 2 years. And it very much gave me like just dirt on the cheek. Like, I had friends who literally talked to me and was like, you have dirt on your cheek in your videos or in your pictures. And I was like, LOL, what? That's my contour. So now we're just gonna like blend all this out. You blend up, always blend up, don't blend down. And that way you're like building up that deepness in the cheekbone. Like I said, it's gonna look a little funky once you're done. Just that. And then don't forget to get like down here too, because you're gonna want to contour that later too, your jaw. So blend that out. Blend it just above your actual jawline. That way when you cut that later with your concealer. Alright, so we're all done and like contoured up with the cream, and so now we're gonna go in with our concealer, which I always use a really, really bright concealer to kind of contrast that really, really dark contour that we put in there. That way when like it all comes together and it's all blended out, it looks even. So we're gonna come in here, cut the cheeks. And then we're gonna bring our blending brush, and we're gonna blend up. And then when you set this with powder later, it's gonna look so good. I'm really working on my mumbling. I don't know if you guys can tell, because I have a really bad mumbling problem, which I didn't realize until I started recording videos, but it's bad. Like, it's bad. You see? Now we're all back to like my natural color. And then once we build the powder contour on top of it, it'll all work out. So when did I get into makeup? I got into makeup, I got my first palette. It was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Alyssa Edwards palette from some really good friends of mine back in the Christmas of my senior year. And I saw that palette. Before then, I had like, okay, I'd done like the foundation, but it was bad. It was like really, it was your Dollar General foundation, where it was like really orange and just whatever. I took whatever I could steal from my sisters at the time, and now I'm realizing that now that I have better products, that they're getting revenge on me because they steal stuff from me literally all the time. But yeah, I got that palette. It was my very first eyeshadow palette I'd ever gotten before, and I was like, what do I do with this? I was like, I'd never used eyeshadow before. And so literally one of my friends took me right before in my car, and she was like, all right, we're gonna teach you how to do it. And so I took the little, you know, tiny little spool that came inside the makeup palette, which was a brush and not like that little powder thing, which was good. But and she was like, okay, so you're gonna want to put like some dark brown right there, some light brown right there, and then you're gonna put like the really dark brown in a crease, but not a lot because you want it to look natural. And then I realized after doing it for like a couple months, I did not want to look natural. All right, now we're gonna powder. So I've got this NYX HD powder. I also really love the e.l.f. one. I go through so much powder. And I also have this Airspun one. This one is nice. I use it a lot on like brides and clients and whatnot, just because there's so much of it. And also it's pretty decent like powder if you want to use it for like women or just people who have that like don't have as much coverage or don't need as much coverage. I need a lot of coverage, and so it's good for a while, for a few hours, but it does not last as long as like this translucent like NYX powder or the translucent e.l.f. powder I've found, which is really a shame because I go through so much powder and I would love to just be able to buy like a big thing of it and not have to worry about it for like a month. I can go through a thing of powder in like 2 weeks. One of these little ones. And then start brushing off. And that's just gonna be my theme for all of these videos. It's okay, it's fine. But my sister has that problem where like she's got like just a beautiful, you know, kind of tanned face, and her skin right here is just like, or she has like a huge thing of brown right there, which I mean, she learned from me, so. All right, now we're gonna go with our contour. I use this KAB Cosmetics. I've shown this before. It's, I think, the volume 1. Yes, the volume 1 contour palette. So it's kind of like, we're going in those same areas that we used the liquid contour before. Only, like, I'm only using like this one here, which doesn't seem very dark, but it looks pretty close to my skin tone actually. But it's still like on top of that original contour. It's coming off really, really nice and giving you pretty good payoff. I would have to like keep building up this powder if I had not done the original liquid, which, you know, if you're putting on lots of layers of makeup or whatever, you definitely don't want to put on powder and then more powder and more powder, because then you look cakey and gross. So anyway, back in high school, she gave me this, and then I walked into my band room thinking I was absolutely queen bitch, literally thinking I was all that. And you know what, looking back, compared to everyone else, I was queen bitch. I mean, I didn't look good by any means. Here, I'll show you some pictures, and I'm only sharing this with you because I trust you, and I trust you won't show anyone. Here are some pictures of me back in high school, and when I first started doing eyeshadow, doing makeup. I don't even look like the same person, honestly. That was before I started like eating better and, you know, working out and whatnot. And I grew up in a very rural town where like people did not exactly value health very much. So it's amazing that I made it out. Now I'm, you know, living my best life in the city, eating salads every day. So, except for Fridays. On Fridays we get to have fun. All right, so we're just gonna keep building that up. I'm like slowly adding in more and more of like the darker and darker contour shades. Because you want to build it up like little by little. You don't want it to be like all at once. And then I'm gonna go in with like the darkest one and just like pop one there, pop one there, a little bit there, pop a little bit there, and then really go in on like the sides of the nose. I like doing this because it again just preps the nose for being able to be contoured. And I've got this giant, like this nose that takes up part of my face. Yeah, all noses take up part of the face. Cut that out. But it's got some room there. We're all about living natural beauty here on this channel. So we just go in, we'll blend it up. Alright. And don't be completely worried if like the contour looks a little weird, I guess. Like I know this part is a little bit meh right now. This side's not bad. But that'll all come together when we do our blush as well. Blush covers a multitude of contour sins, so we're just gonna go in with that kind of lighter shade first and slowly start to like sketch out our nose contour. I'm still not very good at nose contours, like admittedly. Like some days my nose looks really, really good, really, really snatched. And then other days it looks like a chicken on Easter Sunday, you know what I mean? That's not bad though. And then I kind of like do it with the tip. You know what? My problem is that mirrors always look so much better than real life. So I've discovered. Someone said that once on like Instagram or something, and it ruined my day. I was like, I always feel so sickening when I look at myself in the mirror. And they're like, there's a reason for that. It's fake. It's an idealized view of yourself. But then again, I think everyone should look at themselves, just in general, like how they look at themselves in the mirror. Because I think I'm stunning always. Oh God, I need to blend out this goddamn. You know what? It'll come together. It'll come together. It'll come together. I promise. What day is today? Oh my gosh, it's already like 7:30. I think I was supposed to do something at 7. It'll be fine. Maybe I'll remember, maybe I won't. Alright, and now we're gonna go in and kind of cut out these different areas. I'm gonna cut out this cheek here. I'm using not the white, but like the next lightest shade first of this contour palette. Some people cut with powder, which teach their own. I like using this just because it's got some sort of pigment to it. So we're just gonna go in with that, kind of cut up our nose. Not the first time I said that, huh? I don't even know what that means. Okay, and then bring it up into the forehead. And then you're gonna wanna use that white kind of for your forehead and this like bridge of the nose. Because that's where you want like your lightest area to be. It's like right there. All right, and then I'm gonna go in with this Beauty Bakery flower setting powder. This is the oat one, I believe, the translucent powder. And there we're just gonna go right there because I'm using blues. And if any of you have done makeup before, even if you haven't done makeup before, maybe you've seen it, blues and blacks have the most fallout. And reds, blues, blacks, and reds, probably the most fallout. But like, reds you can work with because your skin has like natural red tones, but like they don't have unnatural blue tones. So like if you have blue fall down onto even semi-wet foundation, you're never getting it off. And even if you like layer and layer stuff on top of it, it's still gonna look bad. It's still gonna look terrible. You're gonna want to throw yourself off a building. So we're just gonna avoid that today. Right, so I'm going in first with my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. This is in the shade Coconut. I found this, one of the Ulta girls kind of convinced me to get this. Look how beautiful it is though. Oh. I really love these Super Shock shadows because they're like not fully powder, they're kind of cream based, but they're satin, so they're satins. And like you can kind of like push them in first and then build up around it with powders to kind of blend everything out more. I don't know, they're so pretty. All right, so we're gonna take kind of like a dense packing brush and go in. I like to gather a lot of product first, but just because I'm using it as kind of an outline even. And then I'm kind of like stamping that on the outside. And then working my way out, like blending it out a little bit. So it's gonna look a little weird at first. Because normally you're supposed to, normally you work light to dark, but for like these like smoky looks, I like working dark and like building light over top of it. There we go. Yeah. Yep, just like that. And then we are gonna go in with this pretty little brush. It's like a small blending brush, and then I'm gonna use like this bluish color and then a little this bluish color because it still has that like sparkle to it, and I can use that to like buff this out a little bit more. So we're not gonna want to go too far out because you want to like, after you get this initial spot, you're gonna start in here and then kind of like work your way out into that. So I'm gonna take my tiny little brush right here, and then I'm gonna hit my favorite white from my Midnight Festival palette right there. I'm just gonna go in that and just slowly start building it up. So with that same tiny little brush, I'm gonna hit this Splash of Hues palette and hit that sky blue shade right in the middle. I think I bought these on like Wanderlust at one point, and I was not expecting it to be good because if you know Wanderlust, it's literally like, it's not very expensive makeup because it's all like wholesale. But like this blue, I have two of them and they kind of make up a rainbow palette in and of itself. But like it offers quite a bit of payoff and it's very like buildable. So yeah, you're just gonna build that up, build it out to where it's almost touching the other one, but there's a little bit of a gap in between there. And that's on purpose because we're gonna put another color there. What? I'm thinking I should bring some guests onto the YouTube channel. I've got a lot of friends who are really into makeup, like back home. So I'm gonna be like, hey, do you wanna come over and like, we'll do makeup. That'll be fun. My partner already said he would come on the channel once, so I kinda want him to come in and do the whole boyfriend does my makeup thing because he doesn't know a thing. I don't even think he's watched me, I think he's maybe watched me get ready once or twice, but he does not care about makeup in the slightest. And that's how you make a relationship work. Just make sure they don't give a shit about your hobbies. So we're gonna build in this blue kind of over top. That, oh, this is the blue steel one that we're building up. God, I've led you astray. Then we're gonna take that same blue brush from earlier, and we're gonna start finally building out this like dark blue color out and into the other blues. And we're just creating this like wing shape just to like smoke it out. Just like that. And then we're gonna take that original Super Shock shadow, get a little bit more in there, and we're gonna buff that kind of in and out, especially in like right in there. Great. Then you're gonna want to make sure that like your lid is clean. Some of this is just like, yeah, this is just fallout. It's not like, it's not blue, so it won't cause any issues when we put the white in. Sometimes you can just take one of these big fluffy brushes and go, and it takes off all the excess powder. And then I'm gonna go in with this little Artist Couture, what are they called? The Diamond Glow powders. So my old band director, who I'm good friends with now, she would bring me and my one friend over to her house anytime she just had too much makeup and too much skincare from her BoxyCharm, and she just needed to just get it away because she had too much. I was on top of that. And I was on top of this because she doesn't use, she's never used it, I don't think. And I was like, I can find a use for that. So I'm just gonna go in with this little flat brush, and I'm just gonna put it right on the lid and kind of tap that. And it's not super, like, it's not a lot, but it's just sparkly enough. And when you walk out in the sunlight, oh, it's so pretty. But yeah, you're just gonna like tap it in. All right, so there we go with that part of it. And then now we are just gonna go in with this red shade right there with this flat brush. I usually use this same flat brush that I use for the diamond. Pack that red shadow in there, and then go to town on this bottom lash line. Right there. Make sure you're a little careful up towards like this area, like where it kind of closes in, because you don't want it to look muddy right there. Over here, like towards the smoky part of the eye, it's okay to like smoke it out, tap it out a little bit, but you want it to be pretty precise, like right there next to the eye. Especially considering we're going to be putting in a white liner under that, so you don't want it to look all muddy or turn pink or anything like that. The last thing we're going to do on this before we go into liner is use this red glitter. It's called Passion, this one, and it's kind of, it doesn't have like glue in it or anything, but it's a packed pressed glitter, so it's not like loose. I did this once with loose glitter and like eyelash glue down there, and I almost went blind because it went all over my contacts. I was looking around and I felt like I was in Steven Universe. It was wild. So I use this packed one now, and we just kind of like tap that in. Again, it's glitter, so it's going to be just a tad messy. Just like that. Ooh. We're doing the gig. We're doing the gig today. Ooh. I accidentally wore this lip one time for like 4th of July, and I'm a server at a popular pasta restaurant, which means we get a lot of like certain types of people. And they were like, oh my God, I love how patriotic you look. It looks I love the patrioticness. And I was like, no. I said, we don't celebrate days of freedom when freedom is not free for everyone. And oh God, I keep hearing noises in this general direction. So I don't know, I'm in a dorm room and that's over in my roommate's side of the area. So I don't know if we have a mouse, if we have a raccoon, if we have a ghost. I made a joke about there being a ghost in here last time I posted on my Instagram, and I don't know. All right. So we are done with this until we put on the liner and stuff. And so I'm gonna go do the other side of the eye and I'm gonna be right back. All right, we've got the other eye done and I brushed off all the powder. We're looking pretty good so far. So now we're gonna go into the brows. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have about 4 eyebrow hairs now. I shaved them off close to a year ago, and I don't look back. Because my original brows were not it. I had one that had a really pretty arch, a really nice arch, and the other one went meh. I always look suspicious. Or like, you know that one emoji, it's this emoji, that emoji. So we're just gonna go in with this brow pomade. So I just use that to like kind of fill out what brows I do have and kind of start to give me a shape so I can go up and out with it. I love like the really thin, you know, 1920s, 1930s brows. Mine are not that thin when I do paint them on, but they're, you know, they're thin. They're thinner than a lot of like the traditional brows that you see nowadays. And I build up with like really, really small strokes. Up. And down. And I go just past where my eyeshadow is. Okay. The biggest struggle is always to make sure that the other one matches. So we're gonna try that. There we go. By the time I get my brows on, I really start feeling it. Okay. And this is like not even an eyebrow pen. This is literally just a really dark brown eyeliner that I picked up. I used to use the Aurora one, which is really, really, really nice. Oh, I love it. I ran out of them. The only downside to that one is if you sweat or even if you even get a little bit of water, even if I accidentally put too much setting spray on, it gets rough. All right, and now we're gonna go in with our eyeliner. I use the e.l.f. one. I keep doing that. All right, go in and go up. I go up kind of a pretty far ways, just because I have a really big wing that I like to do. Some of you guys like these nice little wings, and kudos to you, but I'm a big wing kind of gal, I am. Buffalo wing. It was a dumb joke. Alright. It looks just like that. I love myself. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye. The one thing with like your eyes is that you have to like, you really have to learn how to work with them because nobody's eyes are the same. I probably said this before somewhere. I know my friends have heard it before, but like my left eye is a little bit shorter than my right eye. So when I do eyeliner, I kind of have to go like out with it a little bit more to like make it look the same. So now I'm gonna go in with my pen liner, and I am just gonna kind of bring this wing in a little bit. I sketch under the eye just to like blend in whatever black I put there. And then I go in a little bit and then I connect it to where I'm making a little bit of a triangle. Alright, there we go. I like doing that just because it really does just snatch the eye a little bit better. And it helps just connect to your eyeliner So, I don't know, it just works. I don't know why it works, it just does. Now we're gonna go in with our white liner, our Epic Inkware. We're gonna go under this part of the eye. It's a little bit. This is my least favorite part because you can't like look down like I just did, because then you'll get like a little bit, but I've kind of become content with the fact that I'm never gonna get my white liner perfect on the first try. Then you just go in here. I bring that all the way up. I bring that all the way up. That way it's kind of, it just kind of corrals the whole makeup look together. That pretty like really stark white. House's stark white. All right, while we're letting that dry, we can go into this underbrow here. So I use that same white that I used on the inside of my eye, that Midnight Festival. You can use pretty much any white, and you just kind of go under and just cut it out a little bit, not too much. Just because that'll bring forward your arch of your eyebrow a little bit more. And then I like to go in with just a little bit of sparkle up here for that very same reason. Just kind of make it pop a little bit. Once that white has kind of dried, then we're going to go in with our mascara. I have the Marc Jacobs one, and it is all in the face you make when you're doing your mascara. If you don't have a good face, I'm sorry. You're just never going to be good at mascara. And that's okay, Adeline. That's okay. Alright, so I have my lashes right now right beside me drying for a minute before I put them on. So before I put those on, I'm going to go ahead and go into the blush situation. So I love this little Alamar Cosmetics. It comes with the orange, like peachy shade, and then this like darker moment right over here. So I'm going to be using a combination of these two. I love using this peachy shade. Is like, it's kind of my go-to because like it works in the skin really well. It just depends on kind of like what mood I'm going for. If I'm going for any kind of like nude moment, then I'm going to go with this orange, because orange and like warm shades really do well for like nude looks. And then I'm going to bring that right up into my forehead to kind of make everything match a little bit more. This is honestly my favorite part of it. Just any kind of makeup is putting on blush. I love blush so much. It's literally, look at that, it's so good. Anyway, we're gonna go in with this, which is this darker red shade. Just to kind of buff it out a little more. Bring it up on the forehead. Alright, we're gonna do the same over on this side. And I'm sure that in a year, I'm gonna look back on these videos and I'm gonna be like, you shit, you're nothing. Alright, we're done with blush. Now, looks like my lashes are done. So I've been experimenting a little bit with different kinds of lashes, but for this look, I wanted to go with just what I know works best, which is these House of Lashes lashes. I think this is Iconic Light, I believe. I just plop that on and then start pinching. Now I take my tweezers and I get way too close to my eyeball. Every single time I've done this on a customer, they freaked out. They're like, I don't know if I want you pinching on my lid with tweezers. And I'm like, So you don't want to look beautiful? Is that what it is? Alright, well, now that I have them on the right eye this time, now we're gonna go into everyone else's favorite, highlight. So I don't actually use highlight traditionally, or I haven't up until recently. I just recently got this Ase Beauty Glow palette, which is stunning. Obviously I'm more of a this white and then this white with like pink undertones kind of girl. So we're just gonna go in with a little bit of that first. We're gonna go in with that. It's the shade Icy. Just like a little pop. Wow, that's bright. And then we're gonna go in with this NYX glitter primer. I just put a little bit on my hand, and then I just kind of tap it right in those same areas that I highlighted. And that is just creating a little sticky base for us to go in with some glitter, which is kind of what I use as actual highlight nowadays. Alright, there we go with the highlight. It's popping. Alright, now we're gonna go in with our lips. I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place. It's their Luxe Liner in Ruby. Can't talk very much during this part, huh? Ooh. There we go. Now we've got our shape. And then I'm gonna go in with this. If any of you guys like red lipsticks, so I've used so many different red lipsticks and I've never found like one that's bluey enough, one that's pretty good. I'm probably gonna try to buy that Hank and Henry one because that one looks really good. But like this, for someone who wears red lips a lot, and I do, it's a lip stain, which means that it just stays on a lot longer because it's not a stick. And I also like that like the next day your lip is pretty you get a little like nice pink tinge to your skin the next day. Is it giving Queen of Hearts? A little. Okay, I'll admit it, a little. Alright. So then we're gonna set with this, and then I'm gonna go put on a bit of a look, and then we'll be right back. Who is she? Who is she? So yeah, that's this look. Oh, this is the finished product. This is kind of just like a regular look for me, honestly. I just love the way it turns out. It's just like old Hollywood. I love my little beauty marks I put in. It's just great. I love it. I've done it with like green before with this little pop of red. I've also done the reverse where it's like red with a pop of blue with blue glitter underneath. That was a little funky. That was a little fun. That was a little fun. It's okay to have fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment on something you want to see next. I love looking at suggestions from people. I've linked below my Instagram, my Twitter, my everything else. You know, I can be funny sometimes, okay? So yeah, love you guys.